How's everybody? How is everybody doing? Get pumped. We got some snow coming. Get pumped. Oh. I am just going to wait for people to get on here like we always do. I just did, let's see, 4 hours. 4 hours? Just about 4 hours worth of news. Our other meteorologist was sick today. So that means it was just me. And I'm tired. Woo. A lot of talking. A lot of weather hits. Always fun. Weather's getting busy, that's for sure. I mean, this is going to be, this week to 10-day stretch is going to be some of the wildest weather that I can remember in a while. I mean, yes, we get into these, little instances every now and then, but boy, this is nuts. I mean, you're talking about, this is how wild this is going to be. So I'm going to show you this. We're going to start out with Florida here for a few minutes and then get into the snow up in the mid-Atlantic. We've been in hoodies, okay, and jackets down here because the highs have been, for the most part, in the 60s over the last 4 days, overnight lows in the 40s. Chilly, right? For South Florida, you get a breeze going too, especially on the Treasure Coast. Now, we're getting ready to flip the air conditioning back on because temperatures are skyrocketing into the low to mid 80s, both tomorrow and Sunday. And with that, we're going to get some pretty uncomfortable humidity too. And then Monday, with this front coming through, the Arctic front, we're going right back down into the 60s, overnight lows in the 40s. So, I mean, it's just, in Florida, it's just nuts. Speaking of Florida, northern part of Florida could see accumulating snow and ice as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. That's how massive this Arctic outbreak is. To get it that far south, I mean, they're talking about 3 to 5 inches, I believe, or 2 to 4 in Houston, Texas. Galveston, looking at accumulating snow. New Orleans, looking at accumulating snow. Pensacola, Florida. Panama City Beach. Jacksonville is probably looking at ice, but you go farther to the north in Charleston, South Carolina, and Myrtle Beach. You're probably seeing a good 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inches of snow there. I mean, it's wild how massive this is. Speaking of snow, could we be looking at a snow globe game for the Eagles on Sunday? There's 2 games. There's the Eagles game at 3, and then I believe 6:30. Yeah, or 6:30 or 7. It's 6:30, I think. That's the Buffalo-Baltimore game. That could be played in the snow, too. Both of those Sunday games could be a lot of fun to watch. It all depends with the lake effect band, the direction, if it shuts off at that point. But there's definitely going to be some snow for the Eagles game. We'll just see, how it plays out for the Buffalo game. Okay, starting to get a pretty good audience, and I appreciate this. I know it's Friday. You probably got some things to do, wanting to get something to eat, and maybe go out to dinner, get a drink or something. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's talk about, real quick, let me spend a couple minutes here in South Florida, show you guys what's going on down here, and then we'll get right into the accumulating snow for the Mid-Atlantic, including the Philadelphia area. By the way, those of you in the Philadelphia area, freezing. It's been an absolutely, I guess, a 30 to 40-day stretch of just brutal temperatures, right? I mean, it's been really cold so far this winter. Get a load of this. This is going to make you laugh. Here is what we're getting ready to see down here in West Palm Beach this weekend. Look at Saturday, 82. It's Sunday, 85. You've got to be kidding me. And then here comes the front. We're going to take a nosedive Monday. Keep in mind, Monday's high of 68. I think that's going to come early in the day. That's probably like a 5, 6 a.m. type temperature, and we're still falling from that point. Treasure Coast, you're probably 63 or 64 with the breeze. I mean, it's going to be chilly Monday. So we're going to flip the air conditioning back on here. I actually have family that has just flown in. They just landed. Dan and Wendy, if you're watching, how you guys doing? I'll see you soon. So they just flew in from South Jersey. We're going to do a little beach time as we head into Saturday. And then Sunday's going to be really nice. We're going to do the breakers for brunch there. That should be really, really pretty. And, of course, we're going to watch that Eagles game, right? Okay, back to the graphics here in South Florida. So, again, you got to warm up on the way. Here is Saturday afternoon. Wow. Wow, did this just update? Look at West Palm. What did I have earlier? Hold on. I had 82 Saturday and 85 Sunday. This now has 85 on Saturday. Oh my gosh. Look at the Treasure Coast. Vero Beach, 81. Got a Disney resort in Vero, by the way, if you ever looking to, maybe you have DVC points Obviously everyone always goes to Disney World, but you can also go to the resort there in Hawaii. Vero's got a resort. I believe there's one in South Carolina, so maybe check those out. Stewart 84, that's where I live. Wow, Saturday's going to be really warm. Let's go into Sunday. Oh, okay, here you go. This is the front. See it right there? So this is 2:30 in the afternoon. You probably got some thunderstorms lined up here too. Going to be dropping to the south. In the meantime, look at that. 85 again on Sunday. Whew. Just incredibly warm. Winds are coming in out of the southwest like this. And remember, where we are here in South Florida, we're not landlocked. Matter of fact, on 3 sides of this peninsula, we got water, right? To the east, to the south, to the west. So the only way we really escape humidity is if you down here, is if you have some kind of northerly component to the wind. Well, the wind's going straight up southwest this weekend. And so these 80s are probably, for example, West Palm's 85. It's probably going to feel like 87, maybe even 88 on Sunday, depending on how much of that humidity comes in here. And then we cool it down as we get into Monday. This is 7:30 in the morning. Low 50s here, mid 50s here. But I think by afternoon, we're not really climbing all that much. Okay, so we got a couple fronts pushing through. Big rains here in Florida as we get into next week. First, this is the Arctic front. Okay, this is Sunday. Here we are in West Palm. Skies are pretty nice looking early in the day. We cloud up by lunchtime, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Here comes the front. Okay, from Tampa to Orlando, right off the coast of Cape Canaveral, south into the Treasure Coast. By 3, 4, 5, you're starting to pick up some raindrops. That includes us here in West Palm. And then that pushes through. Then what's going to happen, this is interesting because this is all going to reload, okay? The boundary only goes so far south and stalls. It hits a ridge, almost like hitting a brick wall here. It stops. So we get another wave of energy riding right on that as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. And then watch this. You guys ready for this? This is about as wacky and wild as it ever gets, all right? You want to escape the cold. You want to escape the snow. You're in New Jersey. You're in Pennsylvania. You're in Delaware. You're like, okay, let's head to Florida. Okay, watch this. This is Monday. Did you see that? So this is all snow and then ice. There's Jacksonville, Tallahassee, it's snowing. Gainesville, it's ice and snow. It was snowing in Pensacola and Panama City Beach, but it's pushing off to the east. Look at the snowfall projections here. Houston, that is 3 to 6. Houston, we got a problem. New Orleans, you're in the 1 to 3. New Orleans, of all places. Houston, of all places. Galveston, Texas, right there on the water. You got to be kidding me. Let's go east. Pensacola, now this is Tuesday into Wednesday. Pensacola, we're looking at snow there, 1 to 3. Panama City Beach, 1 to 3. Jacksonville's probably more ice, but then there's the Myrtle Beach, Charleston stuff. And then, of course, you got the Mid-Atlantic snow, which we're going to talk about now. But, wow. And, we often joke around, too. I'm going to get into the Mid-Atlantic snow here in a second, but wow, we often joke around down here in Florida between North and South Florida. It is literally like 2 different states, how crazy different the weather is. I mean, it's always, Jacksonville's already had nighttime lows in the 20s several times this month. They've had highs in the 30s and 40s. I mean, it's crazy. Yet you go down here, and our coolest weather is, maybe we get a few nights where the lows are in the 40s, but the highs are still jumping right back up into the 60s, things like that. So, I mean, you get frost and freeze warnings to the north, and then you don't get anything like that down here. It's just wild. Absolutely wild. Okay, real quick, last graphic for down here. Remember, we were talking about how active it's going to get next week. These are rainfall totals. Now, I stopped the clock at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. This is generally a Tuesday into Wednesday event. We're looking at the potential for a lot of rain. This thing's got West Palm over 4, Boynton 4, Boca about 3.7, Wellington 3.7, Stewart about 1 3/4 inches. That is wet stuff. The wettest time frame right now looks like Tuesday morning, actually. There's going to be a couple waves. Tuesday morning could be heavy. The morning commute's going to be slow. We catch a break in the afternoon. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, another round of heavy rain, and then it gets slower as we get into Wednesday afternoon. Okay, let's talk about the Mid-Atlantic snow. And if you remember from the last dungeon segment I did a couple days ago, one thing I said was this could be a sneaky 3 to 5. We've got to watch this closely. So what's happening here is you've got an Arctic front pressing. All right, it's just kind of pressing to the east like this. A wave of low pressure is going to develop, okay, somewhere on this front. There's 2 things that we're watching, okay. One, how quickly this low develops, and two, where, oh, come on, there we go, where in reference to the coast does it develop, okay? Why is that important? Well, think of it this way. If the low develops down and through here, and then it's coming up, it's got hours and hours and hours and hours to further strengthen and get its act together as it's lifting to the north, right? So it gives us a better chance of seeing a more mature storm than it would if it develops here and lifts to the north, right? Because it's just getting going. If it develops here, then it lifts north, so it would be this area getting pounded. But if it develops down here, you see the closed low right there? If it develops down here, now look where it is. It's right on the, that's probably Wilmington, North Carolina. Now it's got time to get its act together, and everything would lift north into the mid-Atlantic. Now, getting to the proximity of the coast. So this is where things get really, really tricky. Remember the first storm that we had that put the foot of snow on the eastern shores of Maryland? That was a really tricky storm. The one we had after that was really easy. There wasn't a lot to it. There wasn't a lot of different pieces to the puzzle. This is completely different. This is another very tricky system because what we're doing here is that the low hasn't developed. Okay, we're waiting for some upper level energy to come into play. We're waiting on the Arctic front. So things have to come together. This is the latest run on the European. All right, this is the 18Z. Remember, we're in Zulu time, so this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. First wave, if you're new to this, greens represent rain, blues represent snow. The darker the color, the heavier the precipitation is. So here is Saturday, and it looks like you get, that was fast. Let me rewind that. It looks like you get just a little bit of, I don't know the exact forecast up there for Saturday, but to me this looks like just a few showers. Let's fast forward into Sunday. Okay, again, here, see the buckle? See this right here? See how you're not seeing straight lines just drop through? See there's a little buckle? So the wave is going to try to develop down here, which is good news if you're a snow lover, right? You want this thing developing sooner rather than later. This is 12Z on Sunday, so this is 7 o'clock in the morning. Philadelphia, New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania suburbs, Delaware, eastern shores of Maryland, Baltimore, D.C., this whole area. There's nothing going on Sunday morning, okay? Down here, down to the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. Ooh, I've been through there before. It's a pretty part of the country. You got some snow and ice and a little bit of wet weather. All right, let's put it in motion. There's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not doing anything in the Philadelphia television market. Maybe just starting to snow in D.C., 1 o'clock in the afternoon. According to this model, and again, I do not know the exact forecast up there, so I'm just basing this right off what the model is showing. I'm you know, take this with a grain of salt. It could start maybe an hour or two earlier or later than what I'm saying, but I'm just showing you this model. So by 1, it still has us pretty quiet, and then shortly after that, the snow breaks out. So let's say shortly after lunchtime, here it comes. Now, notice where the low is, okay? Now it's up here. It's roughly, this looks like about 300 miles off the coast, okay? If it's tricky because you don't want it too close to the coast because then you're going to bring the marine layer in and you have the chance of flipping this over to rain, okay? So, but at the same time, you don't want this too far away because then you're going to take this heavier band and push it this way and it's going to ride like this east of Philadelphia. So the placement of this low, it's almost like threading the needle here. If you're a snow lover, you got to get this thing in the right spot. So we all saw it's going to develop here, and it's going to pull to the northeast. Here comes the heavy snow breaking out. Baltimore and D.C. Eagles are playing at this point, all right, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. That's a moderate snow flying, maybe even a little pocket of some heavy snow briefly here, okay, I-95 corridor. So that is 7 o'clock in the evening, first part of the overnight, and then it's pulling away. Okay, now let's go to the snow totals on this thing, and you can see the strip. Remember, you want the low, if you're a snow lover, you want this thing developing sooner rather than later. You want it developing down here and coming up, because if it develops here and comes up, then this doesn't happen. Okay, so you want it developing exactly where the European currently has it. You get a swath of snow right here. We call this the I-95 special, right? From just north of Richmond through Baltimore and D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, even up into Boston, this whole area. Let's do a close-up view, and this is what it shows. All right, so pick out your location here. This particular model has, has 3.7 in Allentown, 3.8 in Doylestown, roughly 4 in Philadelphia. Again, take this with a grain of salt. They could be an inch or two higher. I'm just showing you, this is just simply the European model's take on this, okay? 2.8 in Dover, 3.4 in Seoul, almost 4 in Lancaster, even Atlantic City, 2.2. But look at this. Okay, you know how we always, I saw someone just say the Philly special. Well, it could be, Laura. It could be the Philly special, right? Philly. Okay, so that was the individually run deterministic model. I always show the ensembles, right? Because what do the ensembles do? You guys remember? It literally takes that deterministic run and it runs it 50 different times, okay? Each time it changes the initial parameters, okay? And then it runs off of something different. And it's done, and then you take the blend of the 50 solutions, and that's done to eliminate possible errors by that single run deterministic. So here's a look at the ensembles. Let me quickly go back, okay? All right, there is what the individually run deterministic shows. I would say if you were just going off this model, you'd probably have a maybe 2 to 4, 3 to 5, okay? Something like that, okay? Or 1 to 3, 3 to 5, something like that. That would be the banding, I would say, with this model. Okay, so that's the individually run. Here comes the ensemble. Remember, you're going to have 50 different runs here. So this one has some pretty heavy snow, but look at it. It's off the coast. This one is pretty 3 to 5, 1 to 3. All right, this one's a little closer to the coast. Look at the heavy snow here for like Atlantic City and the Jersey Shore. This one's nothing. This one's nothing. This one's not much. That one's not much. That one's not much. That is a tremendous hit. If number 7, that is number 7 on the ensemble run. If that hits, holy smokes, what the heck is that? How much snow is that? That's not hitting. Okay, just so you know, this is not hitting, but holy smokes, let me go back. If that one hits, that is 2 feet of snow. Just so you know, that is the only ensemble run that is showing that. Oh my gosh, would that be a memorable storm. Number 2 is pretty healthy too. That's at least 10 inches. These two guys, if you're a snow lover, you want those to play out. Here's another ensemble run. It does really well for parts of the area. This is a 2 to 4. That one's not bad. That one's not bad. That one's not bad. All of these are in line with the deterministic. This one's weak. This one, that one's weak. That one's, that one's nothing pretty much. It misses you to the east. Nothing much. That one's close. That's a big hit. So you get the idea. You see what's going on here? Not all of the ensemble runs are agreeing with what the model is showing. Right now, I think just by looking off that it would be a good 1 to 3, 3 to 5. Here's the, now this is a high resolution model. This is the NAM, okay, North Atlantic Mesoscale. This is 3 kilometers. So what does that mean? There's a lot of grid points. With the European that you just saw, maybe you have a grid point here, a grid point here, a grid point here, and a grid point there. A lot of space in between, right? So the model's got to fill in what it thinks going to happen. Well, on this one, it's such high resolution, it's 3 kilometers. Instead of grid point, grid point, grid point, grid point, you have grid, 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 grid. There is no guesswork, okay? So you have more of an opportunity of hitting on this one when we're this close out. So here it comes. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, midday. It is snowing in Philadelphia. Here comes the snow breaking out. Some of this is good. Remember, the darker the color, the heavier the snow will be, okay? That's not too shabby out there in the southeastern Pennsylvania suburbs. You get into the higher ridges here, Berks County, that's probably coming down really good. Same thing with western Chester County. And then this is going to continue through the first part of the overnight, okay? So real quick, this was the European, okay? There's the NAM. That's pretty good agreement. European, NAM, pretty good agreement. I would say, again, maybe a 1 to 3 here, and then a 3 to 5, and then back to 1 to 3. That's pretty good agreement there. I think that's what you're looking at here. But again, remember, this is sneaky. You got to have the low in the right spot. It's got to develop in the right spot. There's plenty of opportunity for this thing to bust, and these numbers don't pan out. Or if everything, maybe you get the perfect track and you get walloped here. Maybe you get 7 or 8 inches up here. So I mean, it's still not etched in stone. But the latest printout, liquid wise, remember, 1 inch of rain is equal to 10 inches of snow. It's a 10-to-1 ratio. So here in, where am I at? This is Philadelphia, PHL. All right, this is the European model, okay, deterministic run. and it's printing out only 0.3 of an inch of liquid. 10 to 1, that's 3 inches of snow. But your temperatures are cold. Whew, temperatures are damn cold, actually. Wow. Holy smokes. So this is clearly showing the temperatures falling during the afternoon. That means this ratio is probably 15 to 1, not 10 to 1. Or maybe it starts 10 to 1 and then goes to 15 to 1. Or in other words, the fluff factor increases as the day wears on Sunday because the cold air is moving in. Okay, that's the snow. Now let's quickly look at the cold. This is numbing stuff. So this is 12Z on Tuesday. That's 7 a.m. Tuesday. These are actual air temperatures predicted by the model. It's probably a little overdone, but holy smokes, it's got the Poconos at -6. It's got the I-95 corridor between 2 and 4 above. Whew, man, that's nasty. All right, just for giggles, let's see what it's got for wind chills. Oh, that's really bad. That is really bad heading into work and school Tuesday morning. Whew. That is 7 o'clock in the morning. You're at -10 in Doylestown, -21 for the Poconos, -10, 11 in Allentown, -11 in Lancaster, negative single digits on the coastal plain in southern New Jersey and Delaware. Oh, that is awful. That is awful. Wider view. Look at these up here. That's a -30 in Vermont, -20 there in Lake Placid. By the way, we went skiing once. Lori and I vacation up there. We went skiing once, my brother Jason and I, and it was about 20 below with the wind blowing. The air temperature was right around 5, I think, but it was windy, so the wind chills were 20 below. Funny thing was, we were sweating. You know, you're skiing, right? And we just kept going on the runs. We'd get on the lift. That was actually probably when I was the coldest, just sitting there on the lift. But you're sweating. So we had 20 below zero wind chills, and I didn't feel a thing. I felt pretty good, but, oh, that is nasty. Okay, real quick. National blend of models, and then I'll let you guys go about your Friday night, have a good time, and get some dinner. 8284, this is West Palm Beach. This is national blend of models, down to 68, and then we're holding steady in the 70s. Let's take a quick look at Philly. PHL. Whew, boy, that's a cold shot. Whew. So 45, what is that? That is Saturday. 45, 39. This 39, keep in mind on Sunday, that's going to come early in the day. And then, oh, boy, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is pretty difficult there. It's not going to be easy to handle that. And then you're climbing. You're getting out of the basement as we get into the following weekend. Let's see what the Euro is doing just to show what that model is. Whew. Wow. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Philly. 16, 15, 19 for the highs and lows around 0. All right, I'm going to tell you now, that is probably overdone a little bit, or let's hope it's overdone a little bit, but my goodness, you do not see cold weather like that very often. That's the 18Z run. Let's see the run this morning. Yeah, you're gonna get out of the gutter as we get, not this weekend, but the following. You're going to get out of the gutter, but boy, that is terrible. Whew. I love the snow and the cold, and that's even too cold for me. Here is the, wow, really? Well, you got a 61 there. This model is the GFS. I don't put much stock into it. Well, all right. It's got you, let's say, relatively mild this weekend compared to how cold you've been. There's the Arctic blast right there. And then it's got the cold lingering, actually, most of next week before you pull out of it. I am not putting much stock into the GFS because of how bad it's been. That's why I didn't even show it right now. It's showing absurd snowfall numbers Sunday. I'm not even going to waste your time and show it. It's been so bad this winter that I'm sticking with the European and I'm sticking with the NAM. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm going to go eat my tacos. I have 5 of them waiting for me upstairs. Let me answer a couple of questions real quick. Oh, by the way, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who signed up for my my YouTube weather page there, the YouTube channel. What I'm going to do here is I'm still going to be doing my Facebook Lives, my dungeon segments on here, probably for the rest of the winter. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly start moving everything over to the, a lot of the videos that I have over to the YouTube channel. There's a lot of really neat things you can do with that. Things where, like, I'll give an example. Like, let's say like I just showed you some of these graphics, but you didn't see me. There's things I can do where I'm sitting here and I'm illustrating things on that graphic, and at the same time, it's like a split box. You can actually see the graphic, so me and the graphic, you know, almost like they do with the Weather Channel. There's a lot of neat things you can do with that. So I'm learning. You know, I've only been on it for like 3 or 4 days, so I'm kind of still learning too. And I've had some of you tell me that you've tried to sign up and you're having difficulties. Let me look more into it. And then, you know, I have your messages. I've read every one of them, the inboxes. Let me look more into how this all works and why you might be having some problems, and I'll get back to you. What I think has to happen, I think you have to have a Google account for an email. I could be wrong, but I thought I read that. So if you don't have a Google email, you might not be able to sign up. But I'm going to put some pagey videos on there too and everything. So I will post the link again probably tomorrow. And I'm not going to be able, I've got family that just flew in now. I'm not going to be able to post again the rest of the weekend. So my next dungeon segment, what I'm going to do is I'll do it same time, same bat channel, Monday. Let's go Monday, 7:45. In the meantime, go Eagles. All right, let's see if they can. Listen, here's what scares me real quick with this game. How many inches in Delaware on Sunday? Right now, it looked like a 1 to 3, 3 to 5 throughout the entire viewing area. That's what it looked like right now. Here's what scares me with this Eagles game. All right, we beat the heck out of the Rams the first time. Okay, slaughtered them. But weather tends to even things. Okay, it really does. I mean, unless you're the New England Patriots and they seem to play better in the snow. I guess they're used to it. But weather seems to even things out a little bit. So all of a sudden you start talking about a 2 or 3 or 4 inches of snow during the course of that game. The visibility is going down. Now that kind of, you know, that neutralizes Jalen Hurts. Maybe he's not going to be able to throw down. Who knows? I'm just assuming things. But weather can change the outcome of a game. So go Eagles, but weather kind of scares me. And in the meantime, I'm going to have some beach time on Saturday. It's just crazy warm down here. Paige says hi to everybody, and maybe I can get her on one of these, not this weekend, but the following. You guys take care. Have a great weekend. Here's to some accumulating snow for you. Bye-bye.